Welcome, dear friends, to Cardiac Radio and the Spirit Society of Virginia, here today in our inspirational talks on Fridays, when we are studying, especially in the month of July, we're studying about inequalities and social injustices and all the themes, as you can see in our very first slide. Yes. And today it's about dismantling social inequalities. Last week we had a beautiful talk about boosting our tolerance, which is so essential for the progress of society on Earth. And today we're going to be talking about how we can rid our society of social inequalities. That's a good question. But before we go there, we'll quickly open here a message from the book. Hold on a second. A message from a beautiful book that you may have at hand, Our Daily Bread, by Emmanuel through Chico Xavier. It says, Goodwill, chapter 66. See to it that you live prudently, Paul to the Ephesians 5:15. Goodwill finds work to be done. Work leads to renewal. Renewal finds the good. The good expresses the spirit of service. The spirit of service brings understanding. Understanding brings humility. Humility wins love. Love leads to self-denial. Self-denial reaches the light. The light promotes self-betterment. Self-betterment sanctifies the individual. The sanctified individual converts the world to God. Proceeding prudently through simple goodwill, the individual reaches the divine kingdom of the light. So now we invite you to a prayer as we're going to begin our session. And in this session, we're going to find therapeutic elements for us, because this is not about simple words and study. It's about vibrational changes in our feelings, in our thoughts. It's about the connections that we have with one another. There's so much that can be done during this hour together. And in your home, this is the greatest advantage of this pandemic. Since our spirit centers are entering all of our homes become an extension of the spirit center, which is great because it sanctifies our minds, our homes. We're still humans, but we are boosting ourselves to a whole nother level. So we welcome everyone to join us in a prayer. Let us pray together to begin this session of study. Dear spirit mentors of the Spirit Society of Virginia and Cardiac Radio, we would like to enter our connection with you for the works you've reserved to be done on earth through our cooperation. We know each one of us is being recruited to be a helping hand. So we thank you. We thank you for the honor of being here united with you and one another, building vibrations at this moment, energy fields that envelop our homes, connecting it to the Spirit Center of Virginia, its spiritual hospital, the field of lavender flowers, calming ourselves and recharging us to greater levels of discerning and feeling. Thank you also for inviting us to share energies, vibrations that may be beneficial to others who are in greater need than ourselves. We need peace on earth, but without goodwill, we cannot achieve it. Tonight, we want to use our will towards the good, using this sacred hour to fulfill our duties before God, praying for others, elevating our thoughts, and studying more deeply the teachings you have kindly granted to us through Spiritism. May healing baskets be brought to those who are in the hospitals, nursing homes, shelters, to those who are in extreme conditions in this world. May they receive these healing baskets to renew their hopes, to recharge their strength, to bring new healing. We pray for our loved ones, both in the incarnate and the discarnate realm. May we feel your guidance and protection as you grant us the permission to begin this hour of therapy for our immortal souls. And so be it. What a joy, and Luciana is here with us. Yay, Luciana,
Hi,
how are you?
I'm good. Welcome to Kardec Radio tonight.
And Luciana has a message before we begin our talk. It's that spirit spoke moment, because that's the foundation, right, Luciana?
Yes, it's the base for everything. So if we have any questions, there's plenty of question and answer in this book for us.
All right.
So, dear friends, as we are studying the Spirit's books a little bit every Friday, we are studying the question 897 today. And this is on part 3 of chapter 12 into virtues and vices. And it's very interesting. This is like a 3-part questions. I'm going to read the first one. We can talk a little bit about it and meditate. Listen to the words that the Kardec asked the spirits, so we can be familiar with the same questions that we have in our daily basis. Kardec also made the same question to the spirits, and let's listen and hear what the spirits has to tell us. So on the question 897, Kardec asked, is he to blame who does good, not with a view to obtain any reward upon the earth, but in the hope that he will be reward for it in the other life, and that his situation there will be the better for far having done it? And will such a calculation act unfavorably on his advantage? So, dear friends, he was asking, right? Can I do charity, do something to help in this time of life, but don't expect anything back from this time and accumulate and wait for the next life? Let's see what the spirits come back and tell us. He said, you should do good from charity. That is to say, disinterestedly. So what does that mean to us? That we should be doing good, right? We should do good, period. We should not be doing something and think about to the return that we will receive for doing it. Of course, that on this stage that we are living this reincarnation in the spirit, in the physical realm, we're still learning about becoming charitable, right? So we are progressing and we are learning how to become charitable without interest. But here's the answer, very short. We should do charity, period. So Kardec goes on still in this same question, and he asked a little bit more. He was a little concerned. But if every nature that we should desire to advance, in order to emerge from such a so painful a state of our present life, spirits themselves tell us that we should practice gratitude in order to obtain this good. Is it wrong then to hope that through doing good we may be better off than we are upon on earth? So let's see what he says. Certainly not. But he who does good spontaneously without thinking of its result for himself and simply for the sake of pleasing God and relieving his suffering neighbor has already reached a high degree of advancement and is near to the summit of happiness. Then his brother, who more selfish, does good from calculation instead of being impelled to the solely by the sentiments of charity already naturalized in his heart. So here they put a parenthesis on and refer to question 894, which was in the beginning of this chapter when we start. And in this question, they say, those who have no longer to struggle against selfishness are those who have already accomplished a certain amount of progress. And later on, they say, we should honor as a veteran who won their grades on the fields of battle. So this will happen, right? To our, like when we want to do something good and doing by heart is something that we already acquired. Like they mentioned on 894, is something that we already got merit of it. So this is a virtue for us already, right? It's not a vice, it's like a virtue. We already acquired that. We can already do charity as a second nature. So this is what we are working on, to become doing charitable things to please God and help the brothers and sisters. So this is the focus on this part of the question, that we need to learn and strive to become a better charitable person without any interest. And then the third part of the question is, should not a distinction be made between the good we do to our neighbor and the care we give to correcting our own defects? We can understand that there is a but little merit in doing good, with the idea that it will be counted to us in the other life. But it is also a sign of inferiority to amend ourselves, to conquer our passions, to correct whatever is faulty in our disposition, in the hope of bringing ourselves near to the Spirit's high degree, and of raising ourselves to a higher position in the spiritual world. So they are asking, should we be charitable and improve ourselves? Let's see the answer. No. By doing good, we nearly meant being charitable. He who calculates in every charitable deeds he does how much interest it will repay him in the present life or in the next one acts selfishly. But there is no selfishness in working out one's own improvement in the hope of bringing oneself near to God, which should be the aim of every effort. So, friends, we are asking to strive to be charitable and improve ourselves without any agenda. As we come and see, as we come, we can see that we are working, we are improving ourselves to become better and be part of a better spirit that we always wanted to be. So this is something that we need to strive to work and to achieve. And like we cannot focus and see what is we're going to receive in return, because we don't know our debts, we don't know our past lives, we don't know how we're going to disincarnate it, how it's going to be the other life. So we mainly need to focus in doing the good for us and for our neighbors without any interest. But don't have that in back of your mind that like, oh, I'm gonna be rewarded if nobody recognize me here, because we don't know and we cannot play this way. We need to be the ones working on really deep in our soul, in our hearts, to be able to do charitable things without expecting anything in return. So with that, we stop today with this question 897. And next week, we'll come back with another question. Bye.
Thank you, Luciana. Now we're going to, this is a beautiful message that Luciana is bringing from the Spirit's book, because now we are going to enter more with greater understanding the topic of tonight, which is dismantling social inequalities. We have a big discussion nowadays, thank God, on earth. People are discussing about how to bring greater equality at all levels. And as you're going to see throughout this month, we're going to discuss racism, systematic racism, women and men's rights, and natural rights of all people in general. And last Saturday at Cardiac Radio's 9th anniversary, we had a beautiful panel, Equality Today, in which friends from different backgrounds were able to share with us the importance of raising awareness first on these inequalities, and second, the needs for all of us personally and collectively to partake into this transition. Things will change, friends. Rest assured, we won't keep the status quo, and things will change not only in the names of headquarters in NASA, not only monuments that will brought down, other monuments that will brought up, but essentially the dynamics of our relationships must change. If we talk about the beginning of it all, the dismantling of social inequalities won't happen until we understand the roots of inequalities. And it's not new. If you go to ancient times, ever since, humans are specialists in creating some form of inequality. Why? We want to know why. Just to give you a quick reference, okay? Go to the book 50 Years Later by Emmanuel through Chico Xavier. Good read for summer. Not only for summer, but for immortality. And of course, for those who have access to books, if you don't have the printout, there's always a Kindle version for you at Amazon. And you can read this book, which is phenomenal. It's a book that talks about the first century of our era, the Christian era, and talks about the first movements of Christianity, but it's in the context of the Roman Empire, a big empire that was ruling the world back then, and the inequalities that existed. You can see throughout the book the Roman patricians with all the rights that they had at hand, and the Jewish people and others, and slaves of all sorts, who were considered to be second class and treated in a completely different way. Slavery existed beyond the color of the skin here, and the social inequalities were so existent back then. In this book, in the book 2,000 years ago, we can go back and we're going to see the huge abyss between those who were wealthy and those who were poor, those who were healthy and those who were sick, and those who were in advantage socially as well, who had projection socially, versus the other ones who did not. Now, if we go back to the Spirit's book, which is inevitable, you're going to see in the third part of the Spirit's book questions like this one. Are we equal before God? It's in the law of equality. It's a law of God. Yes, God created us equal or not? This is a question that Kardec asked the spirits through the mediums of the time in 1857, and it's published here in Question and Answer 803. Are we equal? Do you feel yourself equal? We don't, right? We feel we're different, we're unique. How come? Did God make us equal or not? The answer of the superior spirits is very straightforward. They said, yes, we're equal before God. In God's sight, we're all equal. All of us are equal. How so? Because sometimes we don't feel. And he's saying, we, not meaning only spirits, the creatures of God, meaning we have animals, we have plants, we do too. Of course, it's about being spirits in the human level, but spirits ever since our creation, which is before human level. In spiritism, we understand that we evolve through internships in matter. So being human, it's like a clothing, it's like a stage in our evolution. And before it, it was the animal kingdom. And then before it, the plant kingdom. And we understand that we're evolving through those experiences in effort and repetition, according to the teachings of Spiritism, which makes so much sense, because in Spiritism, we're no longer conflicted about creationism and evolutionism. We put both together and we say, yes, God created us, but created us simple and ignorant. Simple is not human level, because human level is very complex. Ignorant meaning no experience, which is not human level either, which is way back in previous kingdoms of nature. Not that we, like I, Vanessa and Saloni, I was a monkey. No, I wasn't, because back then I wasn't a human. But the spirit, I as a spirit, immortal spirit, experienced before being human, through the evolutionary mechanisms, I went through those experiences. So now when you look at your pet, at your plant, be loving and caring, because you are being responsible for the evolution of that spirit that is connected, the intelligent principle that is connected to the body of that animal, of that plant. It changes the whole game of life. And it's so in us, these teachings, that in 1776, yes, Thomas Jefferson from the state of Virginia, yes, one of the founding fathers, the one who did the first draft of the Declaration of Independence, later revised by mainly Benjamin Franklin, John Adams. One of the main statements brings to us, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men and women are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So you and I are being invited to this deep feeling. So let us put a pause here because, studying this is beautiful. It makes sense. Oh, yes, I know. But let's feel it. We're equal. Now let's look back at our relationships daily, in our daily life, with our families, with our friends, and everyone. Do you feel yourself as equal? And you may ask, equal in what terms, right? Because we have different skills, different abilities. So we're not so equal. Yes. But where is our equality? Food for thought. Throughout this month, we're going to discuss from the first week of July to the end, the last week of July. We're going to be meditating upon this, how equal we are. Because when death comes, it's the equalizer of everyone. If birth is the opportunity for us to experience something different, when we discarnate, death brings us all back to the same plate. Oh, I have a PhD. Death comes and says, you're next. With or without a PhD, you're next. And, oh, but I'm the Queen of England. You're next. And forgive me for saying nothing to do with the current queen. Could be queen of any place. If death comes and calls us up, it equalizes us. The body is going to decompose. And the rules after death are the same for everyone. And it has nothing to do with our titles, the position, the money, the family connections. Nothing. The rules when death comes is about the inner. Inside, you and I are human. We have feelings, we have memories, we have thoughts, we've created experiences, and that's where we're going to become equal in terms of the process we go through. But let us talk about a little more to understand if we have different abilities, how can we feel this sense of equality, because it's a divine law that we need to comply. And feeling our equality is so essential. Like, for example, Chico Xavier. He had some food at home, not much. Somebody knocked at his door and asked for food. But all he had was what he had. If he didn't feel himself with the same rights to satiate his hunger as the person, he wouldn't have given the food to the person, claiming that if I give it to this person, what am I going to have for myself? Now we're starting to see how this feeling of equality is so important for us. It changes our relationships. How much attention we may give to people, how much love we put on our relationships, how much we give of ourselves to society in general. So let us go back and see what else the good spirits have to teach us regarding the law of equality, which is a must for us to comply and be happier. If we go through history, since ancient times, we're going to see many. In more modern times, we're going to see all these men and women, Gandhi, Mother Teresa, so many others, who were messengers of equality, people who were brave, courageous to step forward and say enough is enough. And we're saying this because in the gospel, according to Spiritism, there is a message that says courage of faith. And in that message, we're going to rescue a Jesus passage that he said, if you have the courage to say the truth, to step forward, you are going to be blessed. But how often we see inequalities, injustices, and we are afraid of being the whistleblower. We are afraid of saying anything, sometimes in our family, because we see somebody who is despotic and powerful in the clan of our family. And they make mistakes. We don't agree, but we don't say anything either, because what if they cut my benefits? What if I'm going to be an outcast in the family? What if, and then it happens at home, it happens in the families, it happens in our neighborhoods, it happens at work, it happens everywhere. And without noticing, we don't become messengers of equality. Instead, we become messengers of injustices. We are contributing. We're testimonials. We're witnesses of the wrongdoings, being charged by our own conscience for not complying with the law of equality. Unlike Gandhi, who had the courage to get out and say, I don't agree. Of Nelson Mandela, of Mother Teresa, who said, I'm not going to be here praying to Jesus while I see through my window people dying of hunger. That's not what Jesus taught us. Peaceful they were. Like Martin Luther King Jr. Yes, they were peaceful, but they were courageous. They paid a price. Many of them with their own life or in prison or enemies for the rest of their lives. But today, we're grateful to them. And above all, the messenger of equality, of course, Jesus Christ. The messenger of equality. He was the one who embraced women and men, children and elderly, the sick and the poor, the wealthy and the healthy. But he was never afraid of saying the truth. He knew the balance, but he said, if you follow these teachings, many people won't like you, like they don't like me either. Look what happened to him. If we think we are on the right path because people are patting on our shoulders and saying, oh, you're a wonderful person, it's just a sign that we are in the comfort zone. Because when we step out of the comfort zone and really move forward to bringing this sense of peace and equality, some will appreciate those who are at the bottom of the oppressed. They will be appreciative. And the ones who are taking advantage of the inequality, they will hate you. That's what Jesus said to us. So we said we have our equality from within, but we are not equal in our talents. And the spirits talked about it in the spirits book. If we go to the next question, 804, they say that God created all spirits equal, but each one has lived a varying number of lives. So you and I have lived many lives. Some have lived more lives than the others, different experiences in different planets sometimes. So here we are with different talents. That's why we don't need to envy anybody, because we don't know what they went through to reach what they've reached. We are different, not because God gave us more, like Jesus. In Spiritism, we understand that Jesus is not a spirit that was created like that. He was created just like us, but very likely way before us, and advanced, progressed in other planets, in other galaxies, and one day already reaching the pure level of spirit, which you can read in the Spirit's book to understand the hierarchy of spirits, because you progress and I do too. And that's beautiful because we never regress. We're always progressing, always pushing forward, pushing, pushing, pushing. And remember this, when you are sad and tired and feeling like your life is not moving forward, look at yourself and say, I progress always. I never regress. Never have this feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm always going to be like this. No, tell yourself, I am a spirit living on earth, always progressing, always. And Jesus progressed to pure spirit. And one day he was given the opportunity, as you can read in a book, On the Way to the Light by Emmanuel, through Chico Xavier. He was given the opportunity to create our planet Earth together with other pure spirits. And preparing this planet for our evolution, he's collaborating with God. Of course, he's billions of years ahead of us. Billions of years. But he made himself human again, incarnating on earth to embrace our equality. No matter if you're rich or poor, healthy or not, socially impacting or not, have a title or not, you and I are equal before God. Yes, we have different talents because we have lived many lives. So where do our social differences come from? Now, this is the key for us. Where do these social differences come from? We want to know. And maybe you'll be surprised to know, as I was surprised when I first read this, that our inequalities don't come from God. It's not a natural law, because Kardec asked the spirits, question 806 of the Spirit's book, are social inequalities part of natural law? No, they answered, they are human constructions. So if you see inequalities, it doesn't feel good because it's not God sent. No, it's not. We constructed it. How so? Well, let's move forward and see what the wise spirits have already relayed to us. They say, as pride and self-centeredness are gradually eliminated from us, social differences will disappear. A day will come when you will realize that it is the rightness of your thoughts and actions that constitutes your true value. So let us stop here for a moment and discuss a little bit about the importance of these teachings for us. Let us discuss this very moment here. Social differences, they come up when pride and selfishness enter the story. So if we eliminate pride and selfishness, we feel at the same level. We feel the common ground. I remember once seeing Raul Teixeira, a Brazilian spiritist medium from Brazil, who used to travel a lot throughout the world. And I remember when he was coming here to Virginia, and we were taking him to the airport so he would fly to the next city to give his talk. And I remember when he saw, every time he saw, the people were checking levels in the airport, or waiters and waitresses, he looked at them with so much interest in the person, as if they were with us. Because usually we go there and we feel like, these people are serving us like they are not people like us, right? We don't know their names. We don't see their names on the badges. We don't pay attention. We even forget they have feelings, that they have families, that they have a life. But he would always look for their name on the badge. Always look at them in the eyes. Always be kind. Always. As if they were with us and they were important as everybody else. And I say this, it's even ridiculous when I say this, because we are all important. But we don't feel it. When we call, for example, a credit card company, we feel like the person out there is a nobody who just needs to serve us, and that's it. Because we're desperate, we lost a card, and we're like, hello, I lost my card. What's your number? I don't know. I already told you. I lost my card. And then we start that relationship feeling as if people are not people. They are whomever they are, but we don't feel like we're equal. Because we come from many lives in which we were feeling like this. We're being served. And we forget that those people who are serving, they are people like us. They have feelings, they have a heart, they have a brain, they think, they have dreams. When you go to a hospital nowadays, think of the person who is in front of you. I remember when the pandemic started 4 months ago here in our area in Virginia, and I had to stop by at an emergency room for a minor thing, thank God. But I had to go. And I remember when I was going there and a good friend drove me there, I was thinking with Mentor Joseph, oh my God, what if I go there and I catch the coronavirus? And Mentor Joseph smiled and said, Vanessa, come on. Do you think this is happening just because of you? We need your help. And I said, oh my gosh. And then my friend couldn't come into the room with me, and I had to wait. And then I started praying. I put the Ave Maria on my phone, and I started praying. And I said, oh, Mentor Joseph, why is this happening? He said, good question. Can you help us, please? You think you're here just because of you? Look at these people in the eyes, Vanessa. They are scared. The doctors are scared because they don't know what they are facing right now during this pandemic. Can you see behind the mask? They have scared eyes. They don't know who they're going to see next. They need to help, but they are humans too. They're vulnerable. And the people who are at the reception, before you enter, they're already scared. Who are you? Are you here to bring something that is going to threaten our lives and our families? Human to human. Can you forget a little bit about yourself and pray? Pray for them. Pray for the other patients and give us a hint. I said, okay, if you say so, I will do it. Many things happened, thank God, everything was resolved, but how selfish we are when we keep feeling about ourselves and we forget that the doctor who's in front of us is human just like us, has a family, has issues, has dreams, the nurse, the staff, and we're always self-centered, treating people in ways that are not really human. But the good spirits say the good news, always the good news, that one day, when we realize that we are what we are in our thoughts and actions and feelings, we're all equal. It doesn't matter these external factors. But we're still far, because if somebody knocks at your door right now, and they are whomever, we're going to treat them one way. But if they are a celebrity, a likable celebrity, and I say likable because you never know. There are so many celebrities, but there are celebrities whom we like, whom we may not like or respect. We should respect everybody, but you know what I mean. And then that celebrity over there, oh, please come in, join me. And we would even forget about the masks, or not so much, but allow them to do what nobody else could do. You see? Where pride and selfishness plays a role. It's good to measure to see how far we are. How much we would give of ourselves to somebody who seems to be like anybody, or somebody who seems to be outstanding to society. But when death comes, there's no difference. Now, we want to show to you a beautiful remedy that Emmanuel brings to us, actually, in a book that is yet to be translated into English. O Consolador, the remedy. In a question that was asked to Emmanuel about social inequalities, he says, social inequality is the highest testimonial of the truth of reincarnation, since each spirit has its defined position of regeneration and rescue. In this case, we consider poverty, misery, war, ignorance, as well as other collective calamities, as infirmities of the social organism, due to the circumstance of trial of the almost totality of its members. Seized the pathogenic cause with the spiritual illumination of all in Jesus Christ, the collective malady will be eliminated of all human environment. So let us break this down. Let us break this down in bits. Social inequality. First, he correlates it with reincarnation. So, whenever we are experiencing something that is of that order, it's because we need that experience to rescue something that we have not done right in a previous life. For example, Emmanuel in the book 2,000 years ago, when he was the Senator Publius Lentulus, he didn't think that the slaves and the other people were as important as the Romans. 50 years after his discarnation, he comes back as a Jewish slave, suffering on his own skin the prejudices that he himself helped sustain and create. Reincarnation. And the need to regenerate ourselves, because now he knows it hurts. Some people go through the experience with rebelliousness in the heart and revolt, and it just complicates. When we see nowadays people talking about the Black Lives Matter, we agree we need to speak up without violence. Oh, but we were treated with violence. I agree. But that wasn't right. We're not going to make it right by being violent. Like we are women in this life, in the body of a woman, and we see lots of inequalities. I was listening to a song today by Tears for Fears, Women in Chain, and I was explaining to Virginia today about what it meant. And they say at the end of the song, but free her. Yes, we as women, we have experienced in this life the inequalities at work, in our families, etc., in our cultures. It's getting better, but not quite. We still have a lot to conquer in that regard. And what are we going to do? We're going to despise men for it? No. We want respect, we give respect. We want equality, we need to give the rights to people as well. But work on our end to be a sublime woman. And this is a conversation we need to pause, because when we talk about being a woman and equality, in a few weeks we're going to go back to this issue. But today, the spirit mentors are asking us to emphasize being equal to men is not about having the right to do an abortion. No. The right to kill a fetus does not make us equal to men. On the contrary, it makes us inferior. Because it's your body, the body of a woman. You can't do it to your body, which is great violence. There's a lot of aggressiveness in the movement of abortion. It's the impulse of death, killing. That doesn't end up well. How many people we see that are experiencing lots of issues after many lives because they committed the abortion back then, previous lives. So the rights of being equal to somebody else doesn't give us the right to be aggressive, to be violent. When we go back to the understanding of our equalities, Emmanuel explains to us that these inequalities, poverty, misery, war, ignorance, they are diseases of our society, social diseases, societal diseases. So our society on earth is sick. And it's fair when people say, I don't feel good. Of course, you're sane. You can't feel happy. That's why when I see people saying, I want to travel and I want to go on a vacation, there's no place on earth where you're going to go, where you're going to find heaven. No place. Because wherever you go, there is inequality. How can you, I remember going to Cancun and talking to waiters, and they were talking about their lives, the inequalities in their lives. And they were there serving the resorts. They're people just like us. And we are there. And I almost felt like, oh my gosh, I'm so ashamed that we are here enjoying ourselves and these people are working so hard. Of course, I felt happy that they have a job, but I didn't feel 100%. Why? Because I am enjoying while they are working. I cannot imagine Jesus enjoying himself while everybody else is working. And he's our guide and model. So does that mean, Vanessa, we're never going to have a vacation again? No. But it means we're probably going to change our dreams the day we start dreaming about using our vacation to help others, using our days to bring greater quality to the plate of society. Because when we feel we are entitled to something versus the needs of others, we are feeding the disease of our society. And that's why Emmanuel concludes this by bringing us the remedy for social inequalities. He says, when we stop our pride and selfishness with the illumination of the gospel of Jesus, we are going to finish with this collective melody. Think of Jesus. Do you visualize Jesus by the beach? Right now, during the pandemic, by the beach, while everybody's suffering. It's inconceivable. I can't conceive the image. That's the goal. If everybody stopped today to think about what they think they need and deserve, to think about what the neighbor needs, we would probably, in a day, solve the problems of the world. Read the book 50 years later. When Celia, as Brother Marino, and you can read in the book, it's a teaser. She comes to this very wealthy Roman patrician and says, if you really changed your heart, you need to think of the poor and share and give to those who are in need as well, not only think of yourselves. He goes back home, truly convinced that that's the way to go. And he says to his children, to his child, he has only one daughter who was there back then, and says, you already had your things, I'll give you this. And these other two things I will give to the people who are poor. And I hope you guys respect my will. We're talking about material things, but it's beyond the material things. It's about treatment. Treating people with the same attention that we would treat everybody whom we really care. Bringing social inequalities to disappearance. Only the illumination of all in Jesus Christ will finish with social inequalities. Now, in the Spirit's book, before we bring you a final moment of reflection, when Kardec asked in another question and answer, how can we rid ourselves of this selfishness? The answer of the spirits. When we start putting our attention on the things that really matter, the things of the Spirit. So the more you and I read these books, get to know of this, and focus on this, the less selfish we will become. It's very likely that the study of Spiritism can help us in that regard, because we're talking about things immortal. And thus we diminish our selfishness. But then there is one thing in our hearts that is very troublesome: fear. Oh, Vanessa, what if, like, let's say I have 2 pens, 2 pencils, and people come here and say, I need a pencil. I don't have a pencil. Okay, one person came, I gave one. Somebody else came. Oh, I don't have a pencil. What do? Do you give it? Or you're afraid, but what am I going to do? I don't have a pencil. What would you do? Is it selfish? Good question. That's homework for us, okay? No good lesson is good until we have homework. So homework for us. Would you do it or not? Why not? And why yes? And if you have an answer, please write to us at Cardiac Radio, because we want to hear from you and know what you thought about it. It's a good discussion. It's a good conversation. And now, as we're meditating on this, we'll bring you the ultimate invitation. In the book, 2,000 years ago, when we talk about social inequalities, 2,000 years ago is the book. We go back to knowing of the life of Emmanuel when he was the senator, Publius Lentulus, as you can see in the picture, the Roman patrician in the red robe, next to his wife, Livia, in pink, their daughter, Flavia, who is sick on bed, and the servant Anna, who is standing. And the daughter has a final request for her dad. Please go talk to the prophet, the Messiah, Jesus Christ. Against his will, he does, because he loves his daughter. He heard, Publius Lentulus heard, that Jesus is the man. Yes, the man, the one who brings healing and consolation. He is desperate for his daughter's life, and he goes to the encounter. And he encounters Jesus. And in this dialogue, we have a conversation, heart to heart, that you need to hear. In John de Rosa's voice, we recorded it years ago, and now we're going to play. We hope you stay there, as if you're watching a movie. We have only one image, but we have the whole description according to the book.
He let the busy hours of the day slip away with the sunlight in the west, and as twilight poured out of its soft hues on the magnificent landscape, he left, pretending he needed to take a break, and stating he wanted to get to know the town's ancient fountain.
Sorry, friends. I have just to change a few things here to make it easier on you. Sorry.
He let the busy hours of the day slip away with the sunlight in the west, and as twilight poured out of its soft hues on the magnificent landscape, he left, pretending he needed to take a break, and stating he wanted to get to know the town's ancient fountain, one of the main attractions to outsiders. About 300 feet down the road, he met bystanders and fishermen who drew back and looked at him with undisguised curiosity. A whole hour passed as he pondered his anguish, lost in thought. An immense canopy of shadow had begun to settle over the entire region, filled with vitality and fragrances. Where would the prophet from Nazareth be at that moment? Mightn't the tales of his miracles and his enchanting magic over souls be a mere illusion? Wasn't it absurd to be looking for him on this road, disregarding the imperatives of social hierarchy? At any rate, he must be a simple, uneducated man, given his preference for Capernaum and fishermen. Giving free rein to the ideas flowing through his burning and distressed mind, Publius thought that a meeting with the master from Nazareth was highly unlikely. How would they understand each other? He had not been the least bit interested in a closer understanding of the dialect of the common folk. Jesus, of course, spoke Aramaic, commonly used in the Tiberias basin. Profound doubts spilled from his mind to his heart, like the shadows of twilight before nighttime. The sky at that time of day turned a wonderful dark blue, whereas the opalescent light of the moon had not waited for the night to set in. The senator felt his heart lost in an abyss of infinite conjectures, beating erratically in his oppressed chest. Conflicting emotions tormented the innermost fibers of his spirit. He was unaware that he had leaned on a stone bench covered in bramble. His mind wandered in deep thought. He had never experienced such a feeling except in that memorable dream he had related only to Flaminius. He recalled the smallest details of his earthly life as he had temporarily abandoned the prison of his physical body. He felt a profound ecstasy before nature and its marvels, unable to express his admiration and acknowledgement of the powers of heaven. Such was the cloister in which he had always confined his proud, unyielding soul. Sweet fragrances seemed to emanate from the gentle waters of Lake Gennesaret to blend delightfully with the wild scent of the foliage. It was then as if his spirit were under the imperative of a strange general magnetism that he heard the light footsteps of someone who had come looking for that same spot. There, before his anxious eyes, stood a unique, unmistakable figure. It was a young man who displayed a gentle and indefinable beauty in his profoundly merciful eyes. Long and silky hair framed his compassionate face like brown strands tinged with the gold of an unknown light. A divine smile, revealing at the same time immense goodness and singular energy, radiated an irresistible appeal from this melancholy, majestic figure. Publius had no difficulty identifying this impressive individual, but sentiments unbeknownst to him until then stirred wildly in his heart. Not even his appearance before Tiberius in the grandeur of Capri had aroused such feelings. Burning tears streamed from his eyes, which rarely wept, and a mysterious invincible power made him kneel on the moonlit grass. He wanted to speak, but his chest felt heavy and suffocated. In a gesture of sweet, supreme goodness, the gentle Nazarene walked towards him like a materialized vision of one of the gods of his ancient beliefs. Lovingly placing his hand on his head, he asked him in an enchanting language, which Publius understood as perfectly as if it were the patrician idiom, indelibly etched in his soul the unforgettable feeling that the words were from spirit to spirit, heart to heart.
Why are you looking for me, Senator? It would have been better if you had come publicly and in broad daylight in order to learn once and for all the sublime lesson of faith and humility. But I have not come into the world to alter the supreme laws of nature. I have come here to meet your ailing soul.
Publius could not express his feelings except for the copious tears of sorrow for his little daughter. The prophet, however, as if not needing to hear his unspoken words, continued.
No, I have not come to meet the superficial, proud statesman whom only centuries of suffering can lead to the bosom of my father. I have come in answer to the pleas of a grief-stricken and oppressed heart. But above all, my friend, your sentiments is not what will save your leprous little daughter, forsaken by the science of the world, because your frame of mind is still selfish and human. Rather, it is the faith and love of your wife, for faith is divine. Only one ray of its powerful energies is enough to crush all the monuments of earth's vanities.
Profoundly moved and magnetized by this presence, it seemed to the senator that his soul was floating in a dream world. Such was the extent of the unknown and unexpected emotions flooding his heart. He wanted to believe that his true sentiments were now locked in an incomprehensible game of illusion.
No, my friend, you are not dreaming.
The master said kindly and compellingly, divining Publius's thoughts.
After many years of deviation from the path of the good due to your blatant wrongs, today you have come to the turning point for the regeneration of your entire life. It is up to you, however, to take advantage of it, either now or in a few millennia from now. If the unfolding of human life depends on circumstances, you must consider that they come in all forms, leaving it up to individuals to exert the power of will and sentiment in seeking to align their destinies with the goodness and love for their fellow beings. At this very moment, a glorious point in time has arrived for your spirit if you can utilize your freedom to forever imprint it on your heart, turning it into a hymn of love, humility, and faith in the not yet determined moment of redemption within eternity. But no one can impose an act that is against your conscience if it is your desire to spurn this blessed moment indefinitely. I have been the shepherd of human souls since the formation of the world. For many millennia, I have tried to reunite my stray sheep to bring their hearts the eternal joys of the kingdom of God and his righteousness. All the powers of your empire are quite tenuous, and all its wealth is paltry. The magnificence of the Caesars is an ephemeral illusion that lasts one day, because all wise men, as well as all warriors, are called at the right time to the tribunals of justice of my Father in heaven. Someday its powerful eagles will cease to exist under a handful of miserable ashes. Its culture will be transformed by the efforts of other workers worthier of progress. Its unjust laws will be swallowed by the dark abyss of these centuries of impiety. For there is only one law, and it will survive the ruins of human unrest, the law of love, established by my Father from the beginning of creation. Now, go home, aware of the responsibilities of your destiny. If faith has established in your house what you regard as bliss because of your daughter's recovery, do not forget that it represents an increase in your soul's duties before our Almighty Father.
I know we want more, but that's in the book. So you can go to the book 2,000 years ago, buy a manual through Chico Xavier and read the rest of the story. But one thing is important for us here. Jesus says that Publius Lentulus, in his selfishness, was an alien soul. Selfishness brings so many calamities to our souls and to our society. And the root source, the root cause of our inequalities in our society is selfishness. Like Publius Lentulus 2,000 years ago, today we're having this encounter with the Master. His words come to us. It may be our turning point when we forget about our daily things and think broader about the needs of everybody else. It's up to us. For Publius Lentulus, it was very hard to see himself, as you can see in the very discourse of Emmanuel. He talks later about the thoughts and feelings that Publius Lentulus had as a senator, and he said, I can't believe in this fraternity amongst all. What I'm equal to slaves, he couldn't see it. How many people feel themselves like that? They don't feel equal to others, and sometimes it's about other nations. Feeling that a nation is superior or inferior to us, that certain races are superior or inferior to us, that being the body of a man or the body of a woman is this or that and the other. Today, Jesus is inviting us to check that point within and be open to allow the spiritual illumination of the Christ to bathe us and thus treat those wounds so we stop the disease within that joins with the disease of the collective. This is our thoughts according to Spiritism in the study of this session. And I'll bring here our friend Luciana so we can have our final comments, right, Luciana? Would you like to share a comment about what we discussed?
Yes, it's very interesting, this topic about equality. And in the book Consoler, when it comes and say like is about our thoughts, right, and feelings, that's how we know that we are equals. Because as we all know, we are all unique. We have like different ways to be. We have different lives that we had lived before, but what makes us equals is how we are thinking and how we are feeling. And there is a music that I always listen that they say that we all bleed the same, and this is the base that is telling us that we are humans. We're gonna suffer the same way as the neighbor or my friend is gonna be suffering. So when we come across different races, different thoughts, different ways of people living, we need to have that respect and remember that behind everything, we are humans. We have the same way like to suffer and process pain. So we need to approach more gentle and feel the equality between all of us, because as we study these books, we can feel that once we are touched by the words, by the gospel, by the love of Jesus, we start seeing our brothers and sisters more like us. So we are already making the reform, we are changing ourselves. But this is a lot of work, a lot of exercise that we need to put into it. It's a lot of discipline. But as we study the gospel, as we get more familiar with the Master Jesus as an example to us, we can attune ourselves, shape ourselves to have this loving embrace and start seeing the equality on our neighbor and everyone that is surrounds us. So it's exercise. So it calls us to really meditate to getting to this point. Right now we are working on it, and we see, like you said, everything was created by our own thoughts. So right now we need to clean all the bad construction that we already made for this planet. So pandemics coming here, everything is happening now to cleanse everything that we built it, not thinking the consequences of the planet, of people's feeling. So now it's time for us to clean all the mess that we made it in the past by thoughts and actions. So we need to fix it. There's a lot of things to fix it.
Yes, there's a lot of work. And talking about it, we're working with our children. And we have here also Daisy and Carol, who are back from the lesson. They were teaching also about social inequalities to children at our Spirit Society of Virginia's Facebook page. We recommend to our parents and would like to bring them here with us so they can join us. Thank you, Carol and Daisy, for joining us. And I know you guys taught a lesson today about social inequalities, and we would like to hear a little bit from you because this topic is so important. Carol, what would you like to say?
Yes, it was very beautiful, the lesson, Vanessa, because we invited the children to look for similarities rather than differences. Usually, we even have games for children in booklets, activity booklets, where they are trained to look for the differences. And here at the SSVA and Kardec Radio for Kids, we train them to see each other from the perspective of gods. from the divine perspective. And so we put pictures of a tree and a little flower, a bird and a butterfly together, and we asked them, find the similarities. So it was very interesting. And then we posed to them that though we have different abilities, some of us may like to sing, some of us may like to write, some of us may like to run, we are all loved by God the same way. And then we invited them to do a very interesting activity. Would you like to share, Daisy?
Sure, Carol. Yes, it was such a we did an exercise with the children that the mentors of the SSVA and the Cardiac Radio share with us, which I think everyone can practice at home, not just the children. But so the exercise is for us to look at our hands. And if you have, you can, just look at your hands, or if you have a piece of paper, you can draw your hand on a piece of paper. And you can look first, as Carol is saying, for the similarities, because we go throughout our days, focus so much on the difference, as Carol was saying. Oh, that person has a different hair, a different skin color, different height, right? Different clothes. We're so, our brains, and that's why we need to start with our children to really change the way we look at our society. And that's a great exercise, looking first for the similarities. So we can look at our hands and we can see, what do we have in common? So we have several fingers, right? So everyone, right, has, but then if you look at the beauty that, God gave our hand, we do have several fingers, but each one of them are unique. Each one of them have their difference. So, and that's why is the reason? Because if they were all the same, we wouldn't be able to have the ability to hold things and catch things and eat and go through our days. So it reminded the children how important it is. Yes, we do have difference, right? We do, each one of them has Kara's same. I have a different talent, as you were mentioned to us, Vanessa. But at the end of the day, that is a complement. We complement one another, but at the end of the day, we are children of God. So we're all the same, as Lou is saying, we all suffer and we're all, deep down the same, but we need each other and our difference to really make up our society. So that was the lesson. It was a beautiful lesson, right, Carol?
Right. It was very special.
Yes, what a special lesson. So we encourage all the parents and educators to keep an eye. And tomorrow at 10 a.m., it's going to be at Cardiac Radio for Kids, right? Here at Cardiac Radio.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So now we invite everyone to join us in this final moment, since we all need, through the words of Emmanuel, the spiritual illumination of Jesus Christ may help us be more compliant with the law of equality. Let us then feel ourselves more united as we march towards the spiritual passes in the prayer with Luciana, right?
So, dear friends, let us close our eyes and feel the loving embrace of our Master Jesus. We can feel Jesus asking us, what is that we need? He comes to us so that we can humbly ask him for this healing treatment that we need for our soul, for our body, and His loving embrace is healing each one of us. We can feel our heart beating faster and warm due to the healing that these passes are doing to us. Our heart is pumping healing through our veins so that each part of our physical body receive the treatment it needs. So as we breathe in and out, we feel the healing all over our body. And with that, we can see ourselves illuminating the gold light around the physical body, expanding to our aura, making the cleansing connection with our spirit. There, the healing really happens deeply, dissolving all the energies and connections that we made, not knowing, that will bring us down and bring illness to our physical body.
So let us continue this moment feeling the presence of Jesus and the envelopment of His healing energies, enveloping our homes, our workplaces, the schools on earth, and raise our thoughts to our Master, saying, "Thank you, Master, for your loving and kind invitation. Thank you for your patience and for being with us throughout millennia, inviting us day in, day out to fulfill God's will on earth. We hope that now we can be more attentive to our duties that need to be fulfilled. And we hope that healing baskets of love are brought to those who are sick, to those who are desperate, whether incarnated or discarnated, and feel the envelopment of your love and your protection. With the permission of your kindness, we close this session of tonight in your name and love, and so be it. Thank you, friends. So thank you for joining us. And if you have any question, please write to us at info@ssvirginia.org for the Spirit Side of Virginia, or also cardiacradio@gmail.com. Thank you, friends, and until next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.